Welcome to our startup video for the 2017 ministry year for First United Methodist Church. I'm so grateful that the reason you're getting this is that you said, yes, I'll serve in one capacity or another, and that you are going to be a part of the team that helps us do ministry this year, 2017. We are blessed to move into this year because we have our staff in place from this last year. We have had a great year in 2016 that's enabled us to be in a great position to start this year. Financially, we finished well, finished better than we have in the last several years, and that's because of your faithfulness to give. And your faithfulness to pledge has us in the best position we've been in for our coming budget for this year. And so that's exciting as well. Our budget is what we call lean but strategic. We have cut it down as far as we can without losing our chance to grow. And we believe that budget's going to facilitate a great year for 2017 in our church and all of our ministries. We have our church ready to respond to the call to find a heart for God, and that's the lead direction we're headed to know the heart for God and to see that in several ways. You've heard us share this in our stewardship campaign and in sermons, but we believe that this year is our time to develop and grow into that heart of a community or a culture of community where we're connecting with each other in small groups, we're connecting with each other in studies, in classes, and that's showing support, helping us grow. We're looking for that culture of welcome or invitation. It's a culture that says you belong here, you can be here. That'll help us grow as a church. We're looking for that culture also of transformation where lives are being changed and where we expect things to happen in people's lives, and that's why we exist. To create that chance for Jesus to transform lives. We're looking for that culture of service where we can actually see people at work, not only in our church but in the community, and that kind of service culture is so contagious, and we're excited about what we see already in our church, and we're looking for the culture of generosity, and we've seen that in this last year and in this year. And we believe that that's what begins to bring all those cultures together because we trust God and we trust the direction He's sending us as a church. Our mission as a church is to create grace-filled community, grace-filled environments where Jesus can transform lives. Our vision is to be that growing grace-filled community that Lubbock needs for us to be a ministry-driven church. And we believe that's not only possible, but it's happening in our church. We also are emphasizing this year Worship Plus 2. Worship Plus 2 is a goal. It's a challenge, and we're challenging the whole church. As a leader receiving this video, we need you to help us set an example, to set a pace, and so we need you to meet and exceed this, if that's at all possible. Worship Plus 2 is a challenge to be here 2/3 of the year. That's 35 out of 52 weeks, and to be participants in worship and to own it. We think worship is important. We also want you to understand that the plus 2 part you're already doing. One of those is to be in a way of service, a place of service, and the other one is to be in a small group or a class so that you can be growing. So Worship Plus 2 is already showing traction in our church. We can see it, we can feel it. We want you to join us in that as well. The nuts and bolts of how our church operates is what this video is about. I want to leave you in just these few minutes with a sense of the overview of how our church is structured, where you fit into that structure, how that structure operates, so that you can see on the pages that are included in this email where you fit in and how you can be connected. So first, let me start with the church council. That's our deciding body, and that church council meets 4 times a year. And they make decisions, the big decisions for our church. But where the nuts and bolts get done, where all the small decisions and the ministry decisions and administrative decisions get made, are largely in our ministry teams and committees. Those are the three structures: the church council that oversees the ministry teams and the administrative committees. And so that's how our structure is built. Likely you are on one or several of those, and so we want you to be able to look through the roster that's included in this email and find where you are. And you can see how it's broken down in those three categories: church council, ministry teams, and administrative committees. We also need you to know the church council is chaired by Jeff Shropshire this year. That group and its meeting dates are published with this email, so you can see those dates and put those on your calendar. Make sure you do that now so that you have that information ready to go. And even set some alerts so that it reminds you that week that that meeting is coming. Notice also that in those meetings we have a purpose when we gather for the church council. Part of that's to tell the story. How are we meeting our mission? Where are lives being transformed? And that's a part of that meeting. We look at ministry team results, and we also look at administrative committee decisions and reports. So those meetings last an hour or maybe a touch more on a normal basis. Our ministry teams are made up of people who have a heart for that area of ministry, and those teams work together. They own the responsibility. They build the vision. They make plans and dreams, and then they do the work together. They involve other people in the church, and that's important. And a team works that way. And so those teams meet as they need to, and they're all working together in coordination with the staff person that's assigned. Attached to this email is a list of the staff and how they are deployed to the ministry teams, and you can see which staff person or persons is a part of your team. And that staff person is going to help you connect with calendar, connect with finances. That staff person is going to help you make decisions as needed. And that person is going to also work with the chair of the ministry team that you're on, so that plans can be made together and executed well. You can even have planning retreats. But those ministry teams meet when they need to and as the chair and staff person sense that meeting is needed. But those are ways for you to work together as a team. Administrative committees, on the other hand, are typical committees, and we Methodists are good at committees, and they meet together to make decisions that the staff carry out. And those committees take care of our personnel, our finances. Those committees take care of our investments, our stewardship. They take care of the different aspects of all the administrative pieces of our church. Usually they have regular meeting schedules. And in those meetings that usually last an hour or less, they are tackling an agenda. And there are staff assigned to those administrative committees as well. And so you'll want to look through the assignment page and see which staff are assigned the committee that you're on or that you chair, and you can see who should be working with you closely to help set an agenda, to help know what issues need to be tackled, and to be able to know how to proceed into those meetings. The calendaring items are things that your staff person assigned can help you with, but Charles Norton, our facilities director, is our major calendaring staff person. He takes care of facility, he has the calendar, he knows the schedules, and so you'll want to work through your staff person first, but know that Charles, it'll all come back to Charles, and he will help us know how to use our calendar well. Also, the same is true about reserving space in the church. Work with your staff person. That staff person, in turn, is going to talk with Charles and find approval for use of those spaces as it's possible. We have a lot of coordinating to do when it comes to our facility, but we're blessed to have a great facility to do that with. Financial access, we, again, would lean on the staff person working with your committee or ministry team, and just simply know that we have a PO system, and that system works very well. Let them guide you in that system when you need to make expenses. We guard who does that. We also make sure our business office gets receipts, and we want to make sure that our expenses are done well so we don't overspend budgets, but we also want to make those budgets very accessible so that we get the money spent for what it's intended. It's intended not to just save, but to use well for ministry. We also have 3 different kinds of accounts. We have our budget we call our ministry operations budget. That's our budget for all of our operations. And we have agency accounts. Those are in and out accounts that are tied to regular projects and events that are a part of our ministries. And we have designated accounts. And those designated accounts are accounts that are more holding accounts for specific projects. So you'll be using one of those 3 accounts if you make expenses in your area. Work with the staff person to make expenses through the business office, and those expenses need to have approval by that staff person so that we can have some checks and balances. But we want to be careful with the use of credit cards, so we're guarded about how we use them, but we do use them so that we can make sure that our expenses help us move forward. So let's begin in 2017 in a way that helps us be responsible. Our revenue seems to be coming in well. We usually start out with a bit of a reduction in the amount that we allow people to spend. This year we're raising that amount to 80% to start the year off with. So if your group, committee, or ministry team will look at your budget, think of 80% of that until the finance committee can look and see how revenues are coming in. And once they know how those are coming in, we'll change that throttle, that amount, that percentage, to meet how our budget revenues are coming in. Our facility use is going to be something you'll want to take advantage of, make plans for the things that your ministry area needs. We want to use this facility and use it well and use it appropriately. But we need it to be used 24/7. I think that's an important part of our ministry. When it comes to strategies for us as a church, our mission is to create the grace-filled environments or communities where Jesus can transform lives. And again, our vision is to become that growing community of grace-filled people that have their finger on caring for individuals in the community, and finger on growing people in the faith. And so that's important for us as well. We have 5 strategic objectives to lower the average age of our church. That means reaching more families and young families. We have a strategic objective also of increasing our diversity as a church, and also of increasing our outreach so that we're not just focused on us, but we're outward looking. We want to continue to improve our safety and security of a church, and we want to move people down the pathway of discipleship so they're getting deeper in their faith. Those are important strategies we need every group to help us reach. Those kinds of strategies, along with a heart for God and Worship Plus 2, are just ways we're going to keep in front of our church this year to be able to end up in the end of the year at a place we think God is leading us. So we want to be available to you as a staff by phone, email. All of our emails are very simple. Our first initial, our last name, at FUMC.com. So please help us help you through this year. We are here to serve you and to help you become a success. So let's make 2017 a great anniversary year, the 125th anniversary for our church, so that not only can we say we've made 125 years of grace, but we have laid a great foundation for the next 125 years. Amen, and thanks for your service.